All right, let's jump into another deep dive. This time, you've given us a YouTube video, PSG versus Liverpool, and you want us to break down the key takeaways from this one.
Sounds good.
So we're talking about two absolute powerhouse teams here.
Yeah.
We've got PSG playing at their home stadium, Parc des Princes,
Right.
and then we got Liverpool, who were at the top of the Premier League at the time.
Yep.
And this was a knockout stage match.
Huge stakes.
Huge stakes.
Yeah.
The winner goes to the quarterfinals, loser goes home.
Exactly.
What's really fascinating about this match, at least from what I've heard, is that Liverpool, they ended up winning, but some people are describing it as a glorious robbery. We'll definitely get into how exactly that happened because it sounds like it was a wild one.
It was.
First, though, let's set the scene a little bit. The first half of this match was explosive, just super high energy. The commentator in the video even said, pace takes on a whole new meaning tonight. And they really weren't kidding.
Yeah. No, it was a fast-paced game. And right from kickoff, you could see that PSG had a very specific strategy in mind. They were using what's called a high defensive line.
Okay.
Which basically means that their defenders were positioned further up the field than you would normally see. It's a risky tactic because while it can disrupt the opponent's attacks as they're trying to build up, it can also leave you pretty vulnerable to counterattacks.
Oh, I see. So it's like a double-edged sword kind of thing.
Absolutely. And we saw that play out early on in the match. There's a moment where Liverpool's Jota, he almost takes advantage of this high line.
Uh-oh.
He finds himself with a lot of space to attack, but thankfully for PSG, their defender, Nuno Mendes, he makes a crucial save.
Wow, so that was a close one.
Yeah.
But it sounds like PSG's high line wasn't all bad. It wasn't just a defensive liability, right? Didn't it also create some offensive opportunities for them as well?
Definitely. It worked both ways.
I mean, I remember seeing something about Hakimi's near miss in the video.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Alisson, Liverpool's goalkeeper, had to make this incredible save to stop Hakimi from scoring.
He's good.
And then later in the first half, Dembele, he hits the bar. It was so close. So yeah, the first half was a really exciting back and forth, you know.
Totally.
Lots of near misses, chances for both teams, but neither of them could actually convert those chances into goals.
So it's like both teams are kind of feeling each other out.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to commit too much. Just kind of seeing what the other team's got.
Yeah.
And speaking of Dembele, he's the one who finally breaks the deadlock early in the second half, right?
He is.
So yeah, that near miss in the first half, but he finally gets one in.
Yeah, his persistence paid off. But what's really interesting to me is how that goal happened. It wasn't just a moment of individual brilliance from Dembele. There were a few other factors that came into play.
Oh, okay. I'm all ears. Break it down for me. What happened?
Well, for one thing, there was a very clear lapse in Liverpool's defending, which left Dembele in a really strategic position near the post. And if you think back to that high line that PSG was using, it actually played a role in this goal as well.
Okay, how so?
Well, because it pushed Liverpool's defenders back, which opened up that space for Dembele to exploit. He was in the perfect spot to capitalize on a well-placed cross. So it wasn't just luck, you know. It was really a combination of Dembele's positioning, Liverpool's mistake on defense, and PSG's overall strategy all coming together to create that goal.
That makes a lot of sense. So at this point, you would think, all right, PSG has the lead. They have all the momentum.
Right.
They're going to cruise to victory.
It seems like it.
But that's where this whole glorious robbery thing comes in.
Exactly. PSG, they continued to control the ball for a good portion of the second half, but Liverpool, they were still lurking.
Yeah, they were waiting for their moment.
They were, and they ended up capitalizing on a couple of defensive errors that PSG made late in the game.
Yeah, I remember that second goal. It felt like PSG's defense just kind of switched off for a second.
Yeah.
And Liverpool took full advantage.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Liverpool so dangerous.
Yeah.
They might not always have the flashiest style of play, but they're so incredibly efficient.
What is this?
They wait for their chance, and when that opportunity presents itself, they strike.
So even though PSG really seemed to have the upper hand for most of the match, Liverpool managed to steal the win in the final minutes.
Yeah.
It's like a true underdog story, in a way.
It is.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about some of the individual performances in this match.
Okay.
Who really stood out to you?
Well, there are a few players who deserve a shout-out, but I think we have to start with Alisson, Liverpool's goalkeeper.
He was fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
He made some absolutely crucial saves, including that early one against Hakimi. Remember, if Hakimi had scored there, the whole game could have gone in a completely different direction.
Oh, for sure. It would have been a totally different game.
Totally. And then on the PSG side, You can't talk about standout performers without mentioning Dembele. I mean, he scored the only goal for PSG. He was a constant threat to Liverpool's defense. Even when he wasn't scoring, he was creating chances and just keeping the pressure on.
For sure, he kept them on their toes the entire match.
Exactly. Is there anyone else you would add to that list?
I don't know. Who else was there?
Well, I'd say Salah. Even though he had a quieter game than usual, he was still a dangerous presence on the field.
Yeah, his speed is unreal.
And for PSG, I think Nuno Mendes deserves some credit for his defensive work, particularly that early intervention when he stopped Jota from getting a clear shot at the goal.
Oh, yeah, that was a huge save. That could have easily been a goal for Liverpool.
Liverpool's manager made some smart substitutions, bringing in fresh legs and changing things up in their midfield.
You're talking about players like Endo and Elliott, right?
Yeah, exactly. Endo's a defensive midfielder known for being really tough to play against, and he came on and immediately started disrupting PSG's attacks.
I remember noticing that in the video. It seemed like he was everywhere, winning tackles, preventing PSG from moving the ball forward.
Exactly. He really threw off the rhythm. And then you got Elliott, an attacking midfielder, very creative player, and he added a spark to Liverpool's attack. He linked up well with Salah and created some really dangerous opportunities.
So those fresh legs, along with a few tactical tweaks, helped Liverpool gain some control back.
Right.
But they still needed to score, and against a team like PSG, that's not easy.
No, it's not. And that's where the glorious robbery element really comes into play. Liverpool, even though they didn't have as much possession, they were just so clinical with their finishing.
Yeah.
They capitalized on a couple of key mistakes by PSG's defense.
I remember that second goal so clearly. It felt like PSG's defense just kind of switched off for a split second, and boom, Liverpool took advantage.
And that's what makes Liverpool such a dangerous team. They might not always be the ones dominating possession, but they are so good at taking advantage of their opponent's mistakes. They punish you for those lapses in concentration.
It was a tough lesson for PSG. You can control the game, create chances, but if you give a team like Liverpool even a tiny opening, they'll make you pay.
Exactly, and I think this match really highlights the importance of focus and concentration for the full 90 minutes. It also brings up this interesting point about different playing styles. You've got PSG, known for their attacking flair. They tried to impose their game on Liverpool. They wanted to control the ball, dictate the pace.
They love that fast-paced attacking style.
Right. But Liverpool, with their disciplined defense and quick counterattacks, they figured out a way to disrupt PSG's flow and take advantage of their weaknesses.
It's that classic clash of styles. Attack versus defense. Possession versus counterattack.
Exactly. And in this case, Liverpool's more pragmatic, efficient approach ended up winning out over PSG's more flamboyant style.
It's a good reminder that there's no one right way to play football.
Yeah.
Different styles can be successful, and the key is figuring out how to exploit your opponent's weaknesses.
Absolutely. It's about understanding your own strengths and your opponent's weaknesses, and then finding a way to impose your will on the game.
And this match really did showcase how tactically complex and deep the modern game is. It wasn't just about individual moments of brilliance,
Right.
It was about teamwork, strategy, discipline, and taking advantage of even the smallest mistakes.
Definitely. That's why this match is so fascinating to analyze. It was like a chess match on the field. Both managers were making adjustments, trying to anticipate each other's moves, and their players were executing those plans with such precision.
And speaking of precision, Alisson's performance in goal for Liverpool was just outstanding. He made some incredible saves, and he was a huge reason why Liverpool was able to stay in the game and eventually make that comeback.
Yeah, plan and just believed in themselves. That mental toughness is so crucial, especially in those high-pressure moments.
So I think that's what separates the champions from everyone else.
Yeah.
That ability to stay in the fight, to keep believing, even when things aren't going your way. And then, on the other hand, you've got PSG. This loss, especially at home, in such a dramatic fashion, it has to have some kind of psychological impact. They need to bounce back from this, learn from it.
Absolutely.
So this match was just a roller coaster of emotions, tactical brilliance, individual heroics. We've analyzed those key moments, talked about the tactical shifts, explored the psychological impact. But there's one more thing we need to consider.
What's that?
The bigger picture.
Right.
What does this result mean for Liverpool going forward?
Yeah.
And how does it affect PSG's ambitions?
Those are the questions we're going to be tackling in the final part of our deep dive.
So think about the big picture.
Yeah, because this match wasn't just about what happened on the field for those 90 minutes.
Right. It had implications that went far beyond the final whistle. So let's talk about Liverpool for a second. I mean, they were down,
Yeah.
they were facing elimination,
Huh.
and then they pulled off this incredible victory in the final moments. Does a comeback like that give them even more confidence as they move forward in the tournament?
Oh, absolutely. This win just proved how resilient they are. They showed that they can find a way to get results even when they're not playing their best football.
Yeah.
It sends a strong message to the other teams. Liverpool's a team to be reckoned with no matter what.
It's like they have this unwavering belief that they can win no matter what the odds are.
Exactly. And that kind of mental toughness, that never say die attitude, is so valuable in a tournament like this.
But what about PSG? This was a tough loss for them, especially on their home turf.
Oh.
How do you think this affects their morale and their goals for the future?
Well, there's no question that this defeat was a blow to PSG. They dominated the game for long periods, but they couldn't turn that into a win. It raises questions about how they perform under pressure and their ability to bounce back from adversity.
Yeah, it did seem like they kind of lost their focus in those last few minutes, and as we've discussed, Liverpool was ready to pounce on any mistake.
And that's all it took. That little lapse in concentration was their downfall. It's a tough lesson to learn, but a valuable one nonetheless. If they want to compete at the highest level, they need to grow from this and develop that killer instinct.
So big implications for both teams, both on and off the field. But let's zoom out even further now. What does this result tell us about European football as a whole?
I think it shows just how competitive European football is becoming. We're moving away from an era where just a few elite clubs dominated everything. Now we're seeing teams like Liverpool with their disciplined style and relentless energy challenging those traditional powerhouses.
It's like things are becoming more balanced, which makes the competition even more exciting and unpredictable, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Every single match is a battle, every team has a shot, and there's drama unfolding every week. That's what makes European football so captivating.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We started with that YouTube video, went through those key moments, break down the tactics, looked at the psychological side of things, and even considered the broader implications for European football.
It's been a fun journey, peeling back all those layers of complexity and drama in what, at first glance, might just seem like a simple football match.
And that's what the deep dive is all about. We take what you give us and really go deep, exploring the insights and perspectives that you might not see otherwise. So if you enjoyed this deep dive, please give us a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth analyses like this. And hey, if you know anyone who loves football and appreciates a good deep dive, share this video with them too.
We're always on the lookout for exciting new matches to break down, so let us know in the comments what you'd like to see us cover next.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that passion for the beautiful game alive. Thanks for joining us.